Hey everybody, it's Seth Jones, editor-in-chief of Golfdom magazine. Today I'm being joined by Jeff Plotz. He is the director of golf course maintenance operations at TPC Sawgrass. Hey Jeff, how's it going today?
Hey, great, Seth. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for jumping on a call with me and want to talk. Obviously, the Players Championship is coming up soon. I was just down in Florida. I've got 12 inches of snow here, so I don't feel, forgive me, but I guess you guys had a little bit of an Arctic blast down there, and the locals were all telling me that it was abnormally cold. Can you give me a run through of how's the weather been treating you guys?
Yeah, it has been. We've really been kind of up against it since September, to be honest with you. We had a lot of rain in September. October, we had two hurricanes come through. And it's just been unseasonably cool for us. As I was sharing with you, it's probably more seasonal for us here, but we haven't experienced it in the last 5 years. So we've had a lot of cold days for us. We've already exceeded what we typically have from a frost standpoint. We've had 6 frosts thus far. We're generally somewhere in about 3. So with some winter still left, we don't like that cold weather. We'd rather get into good warming, growing conditions.
Okay, good. We both would like to get into that warmer weather. I hope it comes your guys' way soon. More important for you than it is for me, but we're wishing some sunshine down there. Can you talk to me just about the course? Anything new and exciting? Anything you guys? I know you added a practice putting green. Maybe was that a year ago?
A
Anything
year
you want
ago,
to?
off of number 10, we do some work. It seems like every year we do some things. This past year we've done a lot of really neat things. Starting at number 2, the par 5, we added a new tee and extended the yardage on that hole a little bit, about 15 yards. Number 6, we redid that whole tee complex, and 6 at one time had a very um, really high profile tree that kind of hung over the tee, um, and was lost in 2014. But we put that tree back now, in an effort of reshaping the tee complex as well. We've picked up a few yards there, and the iconic tree that hung over is back. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool. Number 10, back of number 10 green, we kind of adjusted a spec mound behind there, and pulled the cart path away from the greens complex a little bit, and then totally reworked number 11 tee complex. Again, adding some yardage there, really framing the hole very nicely. And then lastly, on number 14, it's a good par 4 on the right-hand side. There's some moguls. If you hit it offline on the right, we sharpened those up, to be more penal off the tee, and is adjusted the cart path there along that fairway side so we can get spectators through a little bit easier. Um, and still have them, viewing golf in a better area. So, all in all, it's we've had a busy summer with a lot of things going on. But they're all great adjustments. But I don't know that you'll notice them because they've done so well. They won't really stand out that much.
Good. Always busy out there. That's something that you guys are always refining it. I was looking on the website, and you know, you guys aren't just hosting the world's greatest golfers. You're also hosting a country concert. You got Jordan Davis coming and playing a concert on number 17. Describe to me what's that like, and how much more can you guys go through to have a what else can we do that week out there at this
Well,
point?
we've been doing that for a lot of years now. On Tuesday, it's our Military Appreciation Day, Tuesday of the tournament week, and there's a concert on 17. It's great for the fans. They love it. Kind of interrupts a little bit of the practice round that day. Anybody in the afternoon probably needs to be, probably in the morning they go off the back, and then if anybody that wants to do 18 would have to go off the front at a certain time. Spectators start coming in for that, so it's always something. We kind of move our maintenance schedule around to accommodate it as well in the afternoons. But It's great for the fans, and that's what we're here for.
Where does he actually perform? Where's the stage, and how does that set
The
up?
stage is actually built on the we actually have a landscape bed or a rose bed rear right off the tee, and he's set up in that tee, and then the amphitheater and all the skyboxes become this where the fans are at.
Okay, okay. So is that your team that has to set up the stage, or is it
No, thankfully,
good?
we had that's outsourced.
Okay, good, good. All right. So talking about your crew, I mean, these guys, I know, the quality of dedicated professionals you guys have down there, but how stressful is it going into the tournament, and how do you guys keep everybody pumped up and ramped up to go?
Well, we have guys that have been through it so many times that it's just kind of an old hat for them. We're blessed to have a great team and great support. So they are, it's exciting every day, really, since October. There's something being built, and you can start to see things kind of coming together as we're leading into the tournament. So that's an exciting time. And biggest things that we're always having to go over is just safety related issues, making sure that our team's safe with other vendors out here moving big equipment, building stages and skyboxes and those types of things. So, in all reality, they're pretty much tuned into what's going on.
Okay, good, good. And I'm just curious if you have any tools, the trade, you guys have the luxury of having access to the best of the best. Anything that you're really excited about in terms of the way the maintenance technology has improved over the last several years?
Well, we're doing a little bit of work right now with Dr. Trey Rogers from Michigan State on variable depth greens. So we're really looking into variable depth greens. We built a green here this year as well, this summer, just a test screen here at our facility, uh, to really kind of understand the variable depth greens. Um, so we're really excited about the potential there of it really kind of creating uniformity and how that could play, to such a positive role for us from a tournament management perspective.
What does that mean? Just because I'm not really, so
Yeah,
just
no,
Trey telling you that.
it's completely, a USGA green in all reality has about a 12-inch root zone mix. But with the undulation, the low areas always had a tendency to stay a little bit more wet, and your high areas had a tendency to dry out a little faster. And you were always up there having to hand water those, and you were really not watering based on the low areas. So if you have a good bit of undulation on a green, what we're doing through with in conjunction with Dr. Rogers is we're adding a deeper root zone mix at the lower portion of the green. So anywhere the variability of that root zone mix may be anywhere from 8 to 20 inches. So on a high spot or on a knob or something of that nature where you might have to hand water it a little bit, we want to shallow up that root zone mix and have it hold a little extra moisture. On the lower area where has a tendency to stay wet on a USGA green, we're increasing the depth of that root zone mix so that it dries out more rapidly. And in conjunction, what we're finding out is that we can get somewhere in about a 4% variability of water moisture throughout that green.
Okay, okay,
So
that's interesting.
from us, from a tournament perspective, and it really is for all of us, even just managing turf grass at a high level, you're wanting uniformity, and this just is a tool. It appears that can help us. But before we commit to doing anything like that, I like to test it. And so we got moisture meters in there, and we're testing it on a regular basis to try to understand how that works, how it performs as far as what we're all accustomed to of a USGA green.
Okay, great, interesting stuff. What kind of moisture meter testing readings are you using to get what are you using to get your moisture meter readings?
Yeah, so we have some in green moisture meters. One from we have quite a lot of them in there. We have some from Toro that we have in the green itself, and we also have Bernhardt is doing some moisture meters as well, and we're looking at those moisture meters, and then of course TDRs as well.
Okay, great, interesting, good stuff. Let's talk about the stuff, the insects out there, or the I don't know, just what do you guys have any? in your neck of the woods, what are the turf pests that you're going to be battling?
Well, the biggest thing is is mole crickets. The right time of year, we're making an application to treat for mole crickets,
Mhm.
and you know that we do that in the spring, and if you time it right, it pretty much lasts throughout the season. We may have to go in and spot treat some areas just from fly-ins or something of that nature, but by and large, if we get that window right, we're pretty solid.
Okay, good, good. Jeff, you've been doing this for a while. You've been maintaining high level golf courses for a minute now.
Yeah.
What philosophies do you abide by? Has there been any advice that you've been given that really sticks with you, or advice that you like to give with having a job like what you got?
Well, the first tournament I ever did, you never feel like you have enough time, and you're always wanting to have more time. And it sounds kind of crazy, but advice that I got right away was just circle the date. It's coming regardless, so you just need to do the very best you can throughout that process. But it just takes timing and planning. We really start to prep for next year's event as soon as this event's over. So it's a really a 360 5-day planning process to get from event to event. And then, squeezed in between there, we have construction, obviously agronomic practices, and then overseed. So it's a perpetual cycle, if you will. As soon as the tournament's over, we start to break it down and begin the planning for the next year.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
it's just, it's something that's pretty easy to get our team geared up for. They're excited about it. That's what they're here for. They work for the PGA Tour for a reason,
Mhm.
and that kind of makes it a lot of fun for me, for these young guys to see it.
Good, good. It's hard for me to believe, but you're approaching 10 years now there at Sawgrass. Congratulations on that. And looking back at 10-year experience there, anything really stand out to you as a moment in time that you look back on fondly?
Uh, you know, there's so many. It's hard to really kind of pinpoint one. Obviously, having to go through, golf stopped in 2020 for COVID at our event, and that's just something that's always going to stand, in my mind as far as a memory take. It's not a great experience, but how we had to manage through that uncertain time, and how well the tour leadership did through that piece, and being involved in that, it was pretty monumental. And then we restarted. Our team got to restart golf here with a Corn Ferry event. um, so we kind of saw both sides of that equation. The excitement of getting back started again into what we do was a big moment for us as our team goes.
It's funny because you say that. I asked that question out knowing what your answer was going to be, and I remember that very well. I was in Chicago Midway trying to get home, and I'm standing with my coworkers, and there's a big group of golf fans who are heading to Sawgrass on, I think it was a Monday, maybe. I'm trying to think, and I was just trying to get home, and I'm thinking those guys are going to go watch golf. This might be get sticky, and then sure enough, I remember that well that you guys got shut down. So that
Yeah,
was.
it was weird too, because that time, we started the round on Thursday, and there was talk about it. Are we going to stop? Are we not? NBA was canceling. There were other professional uh, groups that were stopping. Right, in Florida, we were looking at Disney and Epcot, and those are people that we can draw upon. As long as they were staying open, we felt pretty confident. But when they closed, you kind of felt inevitably we were going to have to stop the event. We went through that day. We did evening maintenance. Um, we're leaving, and I'm thinking, well, heck, we're gonna proceed. We had a plan in place that we weren't going to allow spectators in, um, on Friday, and try to see how this thing goes. And I was leaving, and I got a call from the commissioner, and that he was about to go live, that we were going to have to stop the event.
Man.
So,
Oh,
so that's about, I want to say it was close to 10 o'clock, a little after perhaps. And I called back to get our management team together and bring them back in, and kind of, convey the message from the commissioner. of what we were going to have to do. And, you know, our plan had to go, we didn't have time to really kind of digest that. We had to get right into action because we have 100 volunteers in from all over the world here. So our goal was, you know, let's take care of the volunteers.
Mhm.
You know, how do we get them on flights so they can get back, or, you know, or international flights being canceled. There was just the logistics of trying to get people to the airport to get on a flight. Um, Try to reassure everybody to stay calm, that we were gonna have a plan together to make that happen. Yeah, it was you know, it's something that I'll never forget. Obviously, it was a big time in our history, as the United States goes, but certainly in our sport as well. And we were front and center on that. That's when golf stopped, was with our event.
Huh.
Now,
You're bringing me
it's a
back to
little,
memories.
you know, people would call me and go, "Hey, you know, can you talk about how disappointing it is?" And it is extremely disappointing for our team not to go through that week. But our thoughts and actions really kind of reflected on the people that didn't even get. We got started. You know, we had the show somewhat here for the start of the week, the practice rounds, those types of things, and we got our event started on Thursday. Didn't finish, you know, so we only got 4 days of the 7 that we generally get on that tournament week. But my buddy Bobby Stringer, you know, didn't get it at all. I mean, nobody came in, so they had all that prep a year in advance trying to get to that moment, and nobody shows up. So
Yeah.
that's a little, you know, we felt really for those guys that you know they've gone through all the pain of preparing for that event. You know, structures are built, TV towers are probably built at Austin Country Club at that moment, and then wham, nobody's coming.
Yeah.
So we really kind of turned our attention to like, hey, we feel for our brethrens that are not even getting to experience it. At least we got some of it,
Mhm.
and then we were, you know, turned it around to when we restarted. I can't even tell you the date now. It all runs together, but
Yeah.
we got an opportunity to restart golf again. So it was really good for our team to kind of go through that as well. Um, Certainly working here at the tour, we had the pulse of everything that was going on, and it was good for our team to be a part of that.
Wow, that's a great story, Jeff. And just I guess gotta tell you a quick story from my perspective on the same time. You know, I know you're a big Georgia Bulldog. I'm a big Kansas Jayhawk, and I was every once in a while I still write about the Jayhawks for the local paper, and I was doing a story about a charity tournament that the Jayhawks were doing. And I was on the phone with the voice of the Jayhawks, a guy by the name of Brian Haney, does the radio for the Jayhawks now. And while I was doing the interview with him, I'm in the parking lot of my son's school waiting to pick him up, and I'm doing this interview. And all of a sudden he stops and he goes, "I'm really sorry to interrupt this, Seth. I just got a text. They're canceling the NCAA tournament." And it was so weird to hear the voice of
Yeah.
the Jayhawks say it over the phone. You get a phone call from the commissioner of the PGA Tour saying, "Hey, Jeff, bad news." And I could just, there's just so much emotion. And then think about this, Jeff. Like you said, you guys get to restart, and think about where golf is now after coming on the other side. Isn't it
Yeah,
crazy how
no,
much
it's
changed?
it's it's been monumental for our industry as a whole. In all reality, it kind of gave people an escape, and it still is kind of trucking along, and hopefully it will continue. But yeah, it's been really cool to be a part of that. I mean, it was an emotional time for everybody. But you know, our team learned a lot, and we really kind of rallied. Our group really kind of rallied to think about the other events and not be, you know, self-pity type mentality through that process.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
it affected everybody, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah. Well, Jeff, I want to thank you again for taking the time, and I'm looking forward to seeing this year's players and seeing some of those subtle changes you talked about. But it's always great. You've been a friend of Golfdom for a long time. We
yes,
appreciate what
sir.
you do.
We need to get you down here for the players.
I'll be down there. I'm coming. I'm going to book my flight today. I'm coming down to
Perfect.
see you guys. So
Perfect.
great, great. Well, everybody,
Look
one more
forward to seeing
time.
you.
This is Jeff Plotz. He's the director of golf course maintenance operations out at TPC Sawgrass. I'm Seth Jones. Thanks for watching us here on Golfdom TV. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.